we're gonna wrap up soon. So this is funny that we're talking about this because I was gonna bring up Chris Brown's album on our show, D.
Mhm.
And it got a 1.3 from Pitchfork. And so I was like, just like Drake, I'm gonna give this a try with the Brown album. And I had already had some clowns because I felt like the cover was very
He
similar
was trying to grow up. He was trying to grow up.
He was trying to grow up, but it was very AI faced in the cover. And I was like, damn, your album is called Brown. And I think him and Duran might have announced it around the same time, but very similar album covers. But Chris sounds is clearly like it looks like it's an AI generated photo of him doing the 90s lean. And they know, listen, I have had an interesting, problematic, off and on relationship with Chris. And I've been done since he posted Free Tory Lanez last summer. Unfollowed.
I did not know that.
Nigga, I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So I say all that to say it is he and Drake have a similar problem. And I think it is that in his case, his fans have also, because we've been here since Run It. First of all, 27, both of these niggas 27 tracks on the album. What the fuck? Like I have to say that. And then when you can go through and pick out like maybe 10 tracks that are deserving of a solid project. Drake is the same thing on Iceman. And I was like, how many songs is this? Okay, there are like 3 songs or 5 songs here that is worth being on a project, and I get, whatever.
And you about to hit on something real powerful, and I don't even know if you know how powerful you about to hit on something. So I'm letting you cook, but you're getting ready to make a point that's so powerful you can blow this whole thing up. So I'm gonna see if you land on it.
Well, now there's a lot of pressure on me. and
I did that on purpose to put the pressure on you because I know you're gonna hit this point, and if you don't, I'm gonna tell you where you hit the point and how powerful the point is. Like a very powerful point. And I'll give you a hint. You talked about this where you contrasted Drake and Chris Brown outside of just the too many songs on the album.
Yes. I think they've lost the plot with their fan base. And as I was listening to Chris's album and trying to listen to I was like, oh my God, it's another song, it's another song, it's another song. I was going to take a step back and go through the producers on this album versus maybe an exclusive, maybe what was the other one, X, all these different albums, and probably, to be honest, his last solid project is probably Indigo, if we could be another album that has a lot of songs and then there's a deluxe edition with 40. I don't know, but I say all that to say is that I think when it comes to certain things, at least in the case of Chris Brown, and also listening to a few of the songs that were on mixtapes that oddly were produced by Kevin McCall and Seven Streeter. Those are touches that are missing. There's a level of sensuality there that is missing from Chris Brown. Chris Brown, why do you have a song called Honey Pack?
I was wondering that too. So
I listened to it. I was like, okay, it starts off because I'm gonna tell you this: the opening track, it's pretty strong. Like it is a strong opener. But then it's like it gets lost because it's like, okay, I'm looking at this picture, and this tells me that this is gonna be a full-on R&B project for the most part. And it's a lot of slow songs, which is okay. Drake songs all were blending together, and everybody's trying to do the Beyonce Renaissance blend, and y'all gotta let it go. You gotta let it go.
I love that album. That's one of my favorite Beyonce albums.
Thank you.
It's really great. I'm a grown man, and I know you can't tell. I'm 6'5", 225 pounds. And I play that. Listen, and I can play that Beyonce album in the gym.
Yeah, I know. A lot.
That album go.
It does. It really. Listen, I warm up to "I'm That Girl" on the treadmill, so I get it.
But I want to bring back this point because I don't want you to miss a very important point that you made.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So just and I'm gonna be quiet. But you hit on something that's very, very, very important. When you compare Chris Brown, or even if we talk about Drake, Klay Thompson, all that, we have a problem with men in the society where their growth is stunted. Their growth is delayed. So they're taking too long to become grown men. Where when we were younger, we looked up to the grown men and we couldn't wait to become grown men and grow a mustache and get a wife and have a family. Where these grown men are delaying becoming those type of grown
And
men
it's
for as long as
Diddy's
they can.
fault. Y'all keep missing the.
Well, it's also
And listen, so now
psychologically.
you're listening to red pill rhetoric, and all those different things you talked about, right? So men are delaying it for as long. I ain't gonna get no wife. I ain't gonna get no kids, whatever. But on the women's side, we're trying to grow them up too fast. So a girl that's 14, we treating her like she's 25,
Mhm.
and the men we're infantilizing them, if that's the right
Yeah,
word.
yeah. Right.
Yeah,
They get to live in the fantasy world, and they're not required because at women at our age, growing up, think about what's introduced to us from birth. Baby dolls, kitchen sets, ironing sets, all these household duties where we're taught to multitask, all these different things where y'all get a tool set and it's like, hey, focus on this, or you can do this. And women, y'all have a very linear way of thinking. And that's why a lot of women do have ADHD because simply how we were indoctrinated into society. And so when you say people like Chris Brown or Clay, I almost called that boy Clay Aiken. Clay Thompson or a Drake. So think about how young Drake was when he got famous. Clay Thompson, the same thing, how young he was.
he's been famous. Clay Thompson's been famous since he was born. His daddy was a Showtime Laker.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when you are, so this is psychological. This is proven that a lot of those men act like the age that they got famous. So in this case, you would have Drake being a teenager, which it makes sense. Same thing with Chris Brown. He was like 13 or 14 when he got famous. His behavior makes sense. His frontal lobe, though it should be developed mentally, there's all these other varying factors. I'll give him a slight pass because when he should have been going to therapy, they had him on the side of the road picking up trash. When they should have had him in centers where it's like women shelters who are victims of domestic assault and violence. It would have hit him differently where he probably was less likely to repeat certain patterns, which he also saw as a kid.
That's how it happens. Yeah.
And so I think so that's where the system sort of fails our people a lot. Our system is not set up for recovery. It is a set up for them to make the same mistake again, to go back to jail, and we see it time and time again. So
I mean, I'm gonna agree with you, but I listened to this interview of Rob Lowe one time, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was a child star, and he said that he stopped growing literally at the age of 14 or 15 when he blew up. Like he had to go back and like literally have to grow up at 35 because he was stunted from 15 when he first got put on.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like that's what he said for all child stars. He said that's their.
But that's the thing.
point.
But you know what that is? That's accountability, and that's going to get help to fix that and healing that inner child. What we're seeing is somebody lashing out, like we said, he's leaning more Drake, and I wouldn't say Chris Brown has that issue per se. He just has a type.
Even the non-famous men, right?
Yeah,
but I think
but we talk about therapy as a whole, and people don't, want to go get help.
Well, it's new. It's new for us.
Or counseling, whatever it is. No, it is it new. It is new.
For Black men, absolutely. Therapy is new.
It's not new. I would say it's that now people realize I don't have to just pray about this and go to church. So now this does that because that's just not enough, because prayer without action is dead. I have to do more than that. That's what we're learning, because Black people, we have a historically, we go to the church, or you just pray about it, or you talk to your neighbor, whatever.
Because you couldn't afford no therapist. Black people couldn't afford no therapist.
It's just talking about it in general. Like
the barbershop is your therapist.
Your therapist. Your
homeboy. The church, the barbershop. Or sitting on the corner with your friends. That was your therapist, and you couldn't talk to them about certain things.
But I'm saying there's certain things that people still, even to this day, because of perception, still hold in that they might not say aloud at the barbershop or to their homeboy.
For sure.
That, and so that's what I'm saying as a whole, being able to release, which still goes back to why Black men have the highest rate of suicide. So I say all that to say, as far as the music goes, like as I'm skipping through and listening to stuff, even, trying to find some sort of connection with Drake, because I tried. I think there's a level of
Arrested Development. Is that
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
mean?
that's just simply what it is. Because like where there's a song, like as I was listening to the tracks, I was like, okay, see, this is a song that I would cut. And then when it wasn't something about pussy in my panties, like his words are not mine. I was like, skip. Because I was like, you could think of a clever way to say that. Like, you know what I mean? There was nothing like, why do you have a song called Red Room? I know look, I don't feel like it. D, I don't feel like it. I know why. But if you're trying to woo me out, like
Hey,
really,
these young women different. These young women different now.
but you know what? But you'd be surprised how many millennials do listen to Chris Brown.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Can I say? I'm gonna say something. Spotify came out with a Wrapped for your last 20 years.
Oh.
And I might have listened to No Guidance 300 and something times. I didn't know it was gonna be that time. Summer Walker is number one. Actually, that's my number 4 track. Chloe and Halle's Forgive Me and Do It is number 2 and 3, and then it's No Guidance. And I was like, I didn't know.
I love that song.
It's a great song. Yeah. It's a great song, but also on a really solid project. Indigo is a solid project from Chris Brown. I'm not gonna hold you, but I think the thing
never owned the Chris Brown album.
That's fine. You, if I would tell you to go back and listen to one, it would be the first project.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the reason you haven't, D, is because, in my opinion, Chris Brown doesn't have a dominant album where this album defined him and dominated. So, for example, that's Usher's Confessions.
I'm gonna push back.
So which album? Usher's Confessions, for example, is something that, like, because he's going on tour for Usher. Like Usher's Confessions, everybody be like, "Oh, Usher, that album ran the table." Chris Brown has a lot of fantastic, great songs, but can you show me an album where hey, Chris Brown with this album that year he ran the table?
First album, absolutely, hands down, and people, it will be a million people that would agree on me with me on that, because not only that, it is no skips, great feature. Like he has like not even a lot of features on that. It's the one with Jewels, and then it's like one other cat on there, but like cover to cover, solid project, which is how it catapulted him into superstardom. That first album made him a superstar.
And you think that's his best album?
Absolutely. And then I actually, you know what? Exclusive is a really great follow-up, because Kiss Kiss, you get Kiss Kiss, that's the second single with T-Pain, and then you get a remix with Nelly.
And see, to me, those sound dated.
No, it's like, if it comes on like a lot of keys, but it's not though. It's not. And I think
I'm not seeing any Chris Brown albums here that I would.
I know.
I'm being honest.
I'm at Fame now. I'm at Fame, and
Fame. Okay, so here's the thing with Fame. So at Fame, you get a slightly more mature Chris Brown lyrically, because he does have.
I like Fame.
Yeah, you get Kevin McCall writing, you get him with appearances from Big Sean, and you get Seven Streeter writing for him a lot. So you do get a different sound. So that's my issue with this project. I know he has beef with K-Mac, but where's like your Seven Streeters? Where's the Runners? Like, where are all these people that you used to write?
Because these artists think they can do it themselves. Like, that's one thing I hate about hip hop. Hip hop demands that you write and do everything yourself, and we know that no matter the genre of music, and it's controversial in hip hop, even though hip hop had writers from the beginning. Get them teams in the room. I guarantee if he got a team in the room and Drake knew people wouldn't make fun of him about it, that's why you don't have the growth and you don't have the Drake albums that you want. Yeah. Because he didn't write it. Because even when Drake writes something himself, what are they? Well, how many ghostwriters do you have on this? And it's like, no. Even Kendrick.
And it's always going to be a thing, so he has to let that go.
Now you get my point about just establishing who you are and just move forward. That was my message. Yeah. Just saying, this is who I am. Even Kendrick enough is smart. We know Kendrick writes all his own stuff. Kendrick is Pulitzer Prize, but he got Baby Keem in that room because Kendrick knows, hey, I'm getting a little older. I'm sitting at home with Whitney and my kids. I'm not outside. I better get my little cousin Keem in this room when I write this stuff. So teams are always gonna make better products. And that's the, like, if you ask me one musical hill that I would die on. So if you tell me, like you tell me, go listen to the first Chris Brown album. When I do some work tonight, I'm gonna put that album on and listen to it and go, you
It's
know
the
what, she
first
right.
album. It's the
But
first
the
album.
only hill I will die on is in music. Teams make better music than people trying to do it themselves.
But this is the whole thing when we talk about A&R and a project, right? Like there's a
You don't
whole
have those
thing.
anymore. They're gone.
Okay. You and D are definitely friends because y'all don't let me get my thoughts out.
My bad.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, because they be talking about D.
Look,
They yell at D in the comments. D, let Dom finish. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there are certain things we stop laughing. We got to get back to basics on because we know, like, at least I don't think that Drake really fucks with like Young Money or anybody over there anymore. That it is obvious, right? Like, cause that imprint stamp is gone. Like, there's no Wayne features. Hasn't been any Wayne features for a while. No Nicki, no nothing.
Right.
Everybody is kind of delusional and crazy over there at Young Money, Drake included, right? But I would say that a lot of the issue is that it's simply A&R and getting that album in front of somebody to green light that, you might need to switch the rotation of this. Okay, so how does this tie into this? What story are we telling? And albums even don't tell stories anymore.
Nope.
You know, because that's why I was like, I'm listening. I'm like, so okay. You know, Chris, you open this, you know, you kind of take it, I guess sort of trying to take accountability. But then at the end, you tell me that you're going to die about respect because you need to be respected. And so I'm like, okay, so what's happening in the middle? Because we got murder, we got honey packs, we got some skin to skin happening. You got Sexy Red chasing the beat, and then Glorilla kind of going a little too hard and rough on the beat, where it seemed like this song is supposed to be a little sexy and sensual, but it's a rough all around. And then the song with Tank, you talking about hashtag body goals. Tank came in to sound good, but a lot of it sounds like it's overly synthesized with auto tune, and it sounds like an AI album. If we could be for real. And it's like the same thing, like trying to similar beats, trying to blend certain things together, but it's not a cohesive project. And I'm like, okay, why are you giving us this project? You don't need, you just give us something last year? And maybe he didn't. I don't fucking know.
But it's to beat the algorithm. I feel like all these plays are to beat the algorithm.
But it's like there's nothing on this album that it's a few tracks, but you don't have a single hit on this album. There's nothing that, and I get it, like you're mad that like I make music for my fans. Fuck everybody else. If you're my fan, you're like this. Here's the thing. A lot of people have albums that flop. You know what I mean? And it happens. It happens. People have slumps when it comes to their music, but it goes back to the same thing. Chris, you know what we know you've been doing? Fucking having kids by multiple ambiguously, Asian looking girls or whatever. One of them apparently not even Asian and just stalked you and your ex-girlfriend so much to the point where you done met her and had a baby with her.
Wow.
The internet.
Well, Don be knowing the tea.
No, the internet popped up on my TikTok, and I was like, shit, I thought I was crazy for a nigga. That's crazier.
Wow.
But I say all that to say, I think that it lacks the growth. And I would think that by now, Chris Brown, you are 38 years old, 30, pushing 40. You're closer to 40 than you are to 30 and to 20. I would think that by this time, especially, you would have had enough life. Chris Brown has had a fucking life. Let's be very clear. And it's been very public. I would think that you would have evolved as an artist, and same thing to a certain extent with Drake. And I think that we have a problem.
Who's gonna tell them no? That's the problem. You don't have nobody in the room. Like back in the day, and I'm aging myself. Back in the day, used to have people be like, "No, this ain't it. This ain't it." Think of how most hit records that we like, the artists had to be tricked. Yeah, they had to be tricked to record the songs, or forced. You like think
half Usher hated half of Confessions.
Exactly. Best album, but had to be forced to do it. So it's just like if you don't have these people, me and Tarboy talked about this when the Drake album first came out. When artists say they want creative control, I want control of my own destiny. if you don't have that certain producer in the room, or that A&R, as you said, or that manager that can hold you accountable, or that label head like an LA Reid to be like, I'm not greenlighting this shit. Like, you better go back to the studio.
But you sitting in your crib in the basement and like
Yeah.
the album's done.
Yes, but because you the star, who gonna tell you no? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You just glad to be working with Chris Brown. Nobody's gonna tell you no. And so I think that, like, to your point, the streaming era and labels having less significance. You don't have those A&Rs anymore. And now people are thinking, the more songs I make, the more songs I put out, the more I can stream, and then the more money I can make. But it's not that old cohesive body of work that just got 10 or 12 of your best songs. We're gonna get in, we're gonna get out, we're gonna do the hotel, the show, the after party, like the Jodeci album. We're gonna take you through an experience, and that's gonna be it. And you just don't have that anymore. So I 100% agree with you saying, and I wish it were different, but when you got Arrested Development plus too many cats waving the magic wand and controlling everything, because artists think, if you're an artist, like if you was to record a song right now, everything you record you're gonna love pretty much. It's your baby. You put your heart, sweat, and so for some, yeah.
So this opening track has Chris Brown as a composer, the lyricist, Ken Will Wilson, Nelson Bridges, Peter Johnson, Jamal Gaines,
They got a lot of
Wayne, Lorenzo Gaines, William Scott, Jamel McNair, Jimmy.
They're all producers?
These are just the composers, like the lyricists on the album, and then Justin Carr. And then as far as production and engineering, Metro Booming is one of the people, but then it's like 10 other people that were part of production and engineering. And then let's see the Honey Pack credits.
You and this Honey Pack.
You upset. Tell us how you feel about this.
Dude, I'm like, this so wild. Like, dude, like
you
like you're 36. Like
tell us why you mad. We here to listen. Tell us why you mad.
Yo, do this Honey Pack thing.
Oh, Ryan Press. It was a lyricist on this. On
Ryan
Honey Pack? No, Ryan Press, who is like the president of like Warner Chapel.
So it could be a lot of reasons why people get.
And Ryan is also listed as a producer on here, along with like a whole bunch of other people under the production and engineering. And so, but again, like, let me see. Okay, so we have the song with Lucky Daye. I will say Lucky Daye is definitely not one of the throwaway songs, because you didn't want to call D Mill or D Mile, however you call his name, to help you produce.
El Mine.
Anybody?
El Mine is that's my favorite.
I know, and then it's like, okay, so could this make sense? Okay, so Kevin Costner, Chris Brown, Ryan Press again, a guy named John Hijack, and then David, which is Lucky Daye. So it makes sense, like, why that is the most solid song on that project. Because Kevin Costner been around for like a long time. And so I'm just thinking about this, and I'm like, I'm talking about where is the other people that you was collaborating with. I'm like, do you even work with 7th Streeter anymore?
Might be busy.
I'm just saying.
Or put it this way, you got to remember that the label back in the day used to coordinate all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
also, no, you're right. But that's why I was like, but this project sounds like a whole bunch of throwaway songs, to be completely honest, outside of the Lucky Daye song.
This is what happens.
And that's kind of sad.
This is what happens. Think about, and this isn't even just R&B. This is hip hop as well. Back in the day, people would get a record deal, and obviously people who were on the same label as you would get access. But the heads of those labels would be like, "Oh, okay, we signed you now.
You got to collaborate.
We're gonna put you in the studio. Yeah, let me call Gamble and Huff right now. Let me call so and so right now.
Taboo.
The game, you struggling, and we got this Dr. Drake thing. We got too much money riding on it. We finna put you in the studio with 50 Cent. Snoop Dogg, we finna help the DLC because you know how to rap, but you don't know how to put together songs. So we finna put you with the DLC. The teams were what made the great albums, because maybe you're the best person to deliver the record, but somebody else is better at writing it and telling you, hey, you sing it, you have to sing this way, or it's a particular engineer, all these different things, and you just don't have those teams anymore. But back in the day, the label used to force that. You signed to me, and these are the people that we're gonna call to work with you. And now, which I'm all about artist control, but you lose a little bit of that if you don't have somebody in your camp to still be able to like, hey, Chris, you go chill out. I'm gonna go call this person to see when can they work with us and do that, and negotiate all this stuff. It's just a different climate now. I
Yeah.
mean, if you make a whole episode about this, laying out your case, I think it's an extremely strong case, and I think most people would agree with you. I think you could do a whole episode about the changes in music and how it's declined and how you as a woman don't feel so lovey-dovey and so sexy when
Honey
they do
Pack.
these albums. Like Honey Pack did not turn you on.
I'm like, but people don't think about, so people not looking at like the evolution or as a whole. Like when we talk about when people say R&B is dead, like how you said people say that about hip hop, and it's not true. It's just that you have people like a Lucky Daye that are coming in to actually save the day. Like when you look at him and who he collaborates with, I mean, it's no skip projects.
But
Mhm.
Lucky
You know
Daye's
what
my age. Lucky Daye's my age. He's still older.
okay, you're pushing it. David is not, I don't know him, but in my mind, we friends. David is like my age. He's
He's
not older
not
than,
though. I looked him up. I was like, "You're the same age as me, damn near." Like you. I mean, yes, he's a newer artist, but it's not like it's a 23-year-old that's coming out here doing this. Is my
yeah,
my
he's
whole point.
40. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And labels aren't putting the money because that's the thing too, right?
but
Like
that's, go
nobody
ahead.
is where the money is invested.
Yes.
So if you have a label and you decide that you're going to invest in R&B acts and you go out and spend the money to sign R&B acts and get them in the studio to get quality albums, those people that we all know exist, like it's a kid in Miami, his name is Ronnie. Right? I don't know if y'all, he went viral. He did that. He was singing Coco Jones over the Lovers and Friends beat. He went viral for that. His name is Ronnie. I
Okay.
saw I saw that kid singing in a funeral. Went to a funeral. One of my partners, his granddaddy died. I'm in the back looking at, you're looking at the program, so you try not to cry. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
program, and this kid is in the choir stand and he's singing, but at the end, he's singing when the Saints go marching in. But every single time I want to be in that night when the Saints go marching in, he goes up a key every single time, and the guy's jogging with it. Just jog. And this is a guy that just singing in a funeral like it's nothing, but you don't have those label reps anymore going and finding a Ronnie and getting this guy and say, hey, let's develop you. Let's see how you dress. Let's get you in the studio with some writers. Let's do this and do that and developing these artists. And he's a dark skinned guy. He's slim, but he's a dark skinned guy and he over 6 feet, which is rare in R&B. But you
Mm-hmm.
don't have labels investing in that anymore. So this is what you get. They're not even investing in hip hop anymore. And maybe the labels don't have it. I don't know what's going on, but I think
I
that's the
think
decline of music.
I don't know. Like like I'm looking at the credits on like my favorite track, which is the title track from Lucky Daye's Algorithm album. And I'm like, yo, like the writers, it's three writers on this song.
Yep.
That's it.
Teams, right?
Yeah, and it's
You write it
like,
by yourself. You don't.
and then it's like, hardly it's like three people that are production engineering. And then it's like, but I know the dude that he works with, like I don't know if it's like it's D Mile or D Mill, because I think his last name is Emil, Emil like
Mhm.
Emil. Um, he works also with Victoria Monet. Um, and so I know, I think it's just a matter of, I think people have to figure out what their sound is. Lucky Day has figured out his sound. He's created like his own lane of R&B, because it's not necessarily the go-to catchy beat or whatever, but like lyrically it's going to hit you. Like you hear like it all comes together, like Roll Some More being his you know introduction to the world, is like so melodic, and then lyrically it's just like the lyrics are not super complex. And I think that like some people are just doing too much and they don't know who they are, so they don't know who their audience is either. And I think that could also go for Drake.